show with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
All right, as you can tell by my hat, not my normal Baylor hat, but I have my Texas Parks and Wildlife hat. And you know what that means, don't you? I mean, Sandy Mason's on the air today. We're going to talk a little bit about Memorial Day, but mostly about his teaching roles in the Texas Parks and Wildlife. And he brought Miss Miranda Baker. I understand you won an award. Is that right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Yeah, all right. Well, so you walking around. She walked in like she owned the place because she's won an award for whatever.
She is Texas Parks and Wildlife Instructor of the Year for Hunter Education Programs. And
Is that
it's
right?
amazing. We got a little over 3,000 instructors in Texas, and she is selected as the top one in the state. So it's amazing. Yeah, Burleson's own.
Burleson's own right. She graduated 2 years after retired, but apparently at Allard Hill College, where she her knowledge was vastly expanded, no doubt.
Yes.
So what are you doing these days?
Just working and doing the instructor classes, events, youth hunts all the time.
Did you continue with your education?
I did. I graduated from Tarleton in 23.
With a degree in what?
A English degree with a minor in psychology and also a minor in agriculture.
So you want to be a teacher?
It's been thought about. I'm still kind of like,
Oh, boy.
kind of thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, give it some, I didn't start off as a teacher. I started off as I know it sounds crazy, as a financial analyst. And I said, this is nuts. And so I got even more nuts and became a school teacher in the mid-'80s. And look, it's been one smooth ride ever since. But anyway, we're going to talk about the programs primarily.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the sponsors real quick because, well, they make all this possible. Our place, of course, I go there at least 2 or 3 times a month at the very least. The breakfast is great. Service is great. You're shaking your head like you've been there, Miranda.
Yes, I have many times, and apparently my grandmother used to work there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I bet Otto would remember her because, the thing about the staff there, they stay there a while. You don't get the turnover at our place like you might at your typical restaurants, and that tells me a lot. But anyway, it's a great place to go. And then Saturday, my wife and I and 2 other couples went to Gina's for lunch after we were doing a little, we were working with the Promises community. I'm not trying to brag about it, but we were sacking groceries for their Kids Eat Free program, which I'll probably mention at the end of the show. But anyway, pizza's great. Music's great. See, I really like their music too, and also it's just a good atmosphere. And I'm glad to see he's doing pretty well because I'd like to keep that place going. Anyway, also All Pro Roofing. My friend John came out last week. He checked my roof. It's good to go. 817-734-2756. No upsell. No song and dance. No razzmatazz about, oh my gosh, your roof is falling apart. I don't know if it's going to last. But call him at 817-734-2756 because you need to know these things. You need to know what your condition of the roof is. I know I don't know about y'all, but I dodged all the heavy weather. Kind of irritated by that, to tell you the truth. My garden needs some rain. That Burleson bubble came certainly worked its magic as always. But anyway, so have John call or have him call you at 817-734-2756. I have had, in the last 2 weeks, I've counted 4 different roofing companies that I'd never heard of call me and say, you want to come look at my roof? I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Because I want to do business with local folks. These people are Burleson people. Also, my friend Jeff Kelly, he'll be on I think on the 4th of June, which is, it's early June. What day is that? I know I'm a history guy. That's the day that Rome fell in World War II is June 4th, 1944.
June 6th was D-Day.
Right, 2 days before D-Day.
Right.
I remember reading about that and about how the guys at D-Day, not D-Day, rather at Rome, the generals and all that who were expecting big parades, they got wiped out by all the other news about D-Day. So There you go. Anyway, I'm just kind of getting off the topic a bit. Anyway, call Jeff at 817-781-0546 or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. Like I said, it'll be on in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk real estate and whatnot. Also, Rod Lewis over at Burleson News Express, he'll be on, I believe, the 9th, if I recall. And he's doing a print newspaper. Have you had a chance to talk to this guy? He needs content. You talked to him.
Okay. I went to the porch with him. We had breakfast one morning and talked about his paper, and I gave him a list of some events we do in classes, and said when he gets his event page set up, he'd have more area to put in things like that for us.
Oh, he's got, I think, going on now, and there's like 48, I think, different places that you could pick up a copy. I picked mine up at Daydream Coffee, and I got an ad in it, and he runs an ad here, and that's how we kind of help each other out a little bit.
Yeah.
Soul Timers remember Burleson Star.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Miranda does. Probably
I do
way back in the day.
Burlesons.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah, we used to get it from my grandpa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, are they Burleson people? Burleson, residents?
They were, yeah.
They were, okay. Burleson News Express, so check it out. Also, my friends over at True Climate, Will Cobb and his sister Emily Cobb, 682-244-2019. You're nodding your head. Do you know these people?
Cobb family's been in Burleson for a lot of years, from Bill Cobb and Son Plumbing up to all this stuff that goes on now with the different parts of it.
This particular Cobb branch is in, they're it's like all interrelated in some manner, but I don't think it's the same direct family that does the plumbing.
It's part of it. But,
yeah, part. It's like we get in Burleson, you get to 3 or 4 families. When I moved here, I thought everybody and their dog must be a bleaker, because there's so many bleakers around. And I always tease Jeremy Bleeker, whom I see once a week at the BNI meetings. But back to the matter, 682-244-2019. Have them check out your air conditioner, because it's going to get hot sooner or later. It hasn't been as hot yet, but it'll ease into it. Then bam, we'll be stuck for 40 days or more. And you want to make sure it works. As far as the nonprofits, we'll be talking about at the end. But right now, some people are kind of taking a little break, and I don't blame them. So before we get talking about the wildlife, it would be remiss if we didn't talk about Memorial Day, because I know how important that is to you personally.
Yeah, Memorial Day is one of the holidays that I can't say I look forward to, but it's definitely meaningful. We veteran service groups, we try to do several things in the community to remember the fallen veterans, and there's a group that looks at our veterans who didn't return from conflict, gave all, how you want to say it, but then anybody who served. Veterans Day is for all veterans, but you still stop and think the families, especially kids and stuff, when they look at parent being deployed, somebody being away for extended period, there's a lot of memories that are lost. So any time you can have with family, anytime you can have together with a group, if it's, and then when the veterans get together, and hopefully the conversations stay civil, but sometimes we get a little off track.
Who knows?
We just finished Friday putting out like 300 flags over at Burleson's Memorial Cemetery from the American Legion, and we had some folks from the Civil Air Patrol give us a hand. So we had a good trip over there, and that's always an annual event we look forward to. And then we have the 4th of July parade coming up.
I was going to ask you about that. Right. You got the plans ready, huh?
Yes, sir. We got everything in, and we're having Bob Parker from Boulevard Baptist Church is going to be our guest to ride with us this year. So
I did that a couple of years ago, and it's one of the best events I've ever participated in. I was very honored. And I brought my dad's picture.
Yes, sir.
My dad is now buried over at the National Cemetery in Dallas, and my mom, who listeners may know is in her last days, will be buried. Well, they're both going to be cremated, and they're in the mausoleum. I don't know what you call it, but they're going to be side by side. Right. I tell you what, though, that ceremony with it, you get the flag from a grateful nation and all that. We did that in like mid-September, about 3 weeks after my dad had died. That's the only time I got clutched up. I mean, because I knew my dad was where he was going, and he was better off. And he's 87. So, but when that ceremony, and they do the taps, and they do the honor guard, and they presented the flag to my mother, it's like you'd have to be a pretty hard dude not to be choked up a little bit. Yeah. So
I stood behind my mother during my dad's ceremony, and the young man that presented the flag to her, being a veteran, and my brother was in the Marine Corps, and I got 2 brothers who are both firemen. We were staying attention. My brother and I saluted that young man, and when it was over with, he walked over and shook my hand and said, "Thank you." So, but it's definitely a solemn experience. So,
well, it made you proud. Yeah, it really does. But we're here really to talk about the youth education programs y'all have at the Texas Parks and Wildlife. That's why I wear the hat,
Yep.
because I don't want to be mistaken. Out in the woods somewhere. I mean, I've seen a lot of your pictures, and they're bright orange. Now, Miranda, how did you get involved with all this?
It just kind of happened, to be honest. I remember I was in my last semester of college, and Sandy's calling me up going, hey, I need help on this hunt. I'm like, sure, why not? Next thing I know, here I am about 3 years later, still going, still running it.
But so you knew him before, I hope. He didn't just call you at random.
Yeah,
You know?
I've known
Hey.
Sandy for a long time.
Okay, so.
She about 10 years old, running around the pasture at our property with her dad out there bird hunting and shooting doves. And he's like, go get it, go get it. And she's like, what are you talking about?
So you were bird dogging for these guys? How
Yeah.
nice. Get yourself a dog. I know.
Oh, we had fun.
Well, that's great, because, I think it's very important that the kids have an education about how to hunt properly.
Right.
And it's interesting. I've talked to Sandy about this before, but almost every hunter I ever met, I'm not a particularly big hunter. I'm not a hunter, so I don't want to claim that. But every hunter I've met are very wildlife conservation conscious, much more than their critics, I guess, would have people think. It's like farmers are much more ecologically conscious than their critics would have, because that's their livelihood, right? And same thing here. And from what I've seen in his programs, conservation is a very vital aspect of it.
Right. So when we teach a class for hunter's education, one of the focus points is wildlife management, wildlife conservation. And a study was done, and, the numbers don't lie when you look at it, but well-regulated hunting is the best conservation tool that we have. Limits that are set, rules and regulations, certain times of the year. You put things into a set cycle, you put things in to help the wildlife, and then when we are working with a lot of our landowners, especially with our youth program, we're actually helping them manage those wildlife herds. If it's the white-tailed deer, for example, then we're looking at animals that may be mature past their prime, where their breeding cycles are getting fewer and fewer. So that's the type of animal we're harvesting. It may be that we're with a group that has a problem with feral hogs or all dead sheep on their property.
Feral hogs,
Yeah,
yes,
so
sir.
we're using the youth or our adult mentors, hunters, to go out and help with that. So it's a form of management, and then the conservation part of it is with our education, and then the applied things that we take from the classroom to the field. So
You hunt, Miranda, I assume. Do you like game? I mean, do you eat game?
Yes.
Because most people also know that hunt, they consider it a sin to waste the meat. Either eat it yourself or donate it. So what do you like? What do you prefer?
I prefer deer. I've tried dove and duck and hog. I prefer the deer.
Well, I've heard hogs are, feral hogs eat junk and trash.
yeah.
They're like, it's like eating a vulture almost, So almost everybody I know that has hunted feral hog and tried to make sausage or something out of it said, I'll just go to the store.
Yeah.
Because it's not that
goes
great.
back to, a lot of it has to do with, when you talk about the specifics of a feral hog, the people who are hunting those, we look at the cooler climate months, and then we look at animals that are in the 150 pound or lower range. They're not going to have a lot of muscular structure, a lot of the muskiness, as people want to call it. And then an animal that is being trying to browse and feed in the summertime when it's hot, water, what's available for them to feed on, what they're rooting into, will make a difference in the quality of the animal. It's also more prevalent time at that time of the year that they may be having parasites on them or in them, so that affects the quality of the animal as well. So a lot of the hunting that we do in the summer is for land management. It's because you've got people who have crops, you have people who have hay, you have livestock that are being affected, and water resources are being affected by them. So by hunting year-round, we're either doing it as part of a management, conservation, or protection, even in some areas, because of the land we're having to help the landowners with.
So you brought us a lot of
Yes, sir.
photo material. So I'm just going to have Josh go through it. I don't know if there's any particular rhyme or reason. So just throw it up there, and there you go. And there's Miranda receiving her award. We had to put that out
Yes.
there. Yeah, that's very nice. Where was this given?
We, every year, Texas Parks and Wildlife has a instructors conference, and we move it around the state to different areas. This year, we were north of Abilene at Looters at the Big Baptist, what do they call it, Big Baptist?
Big Baptist Assembly, I think.
Yeah,
Or Big
it's a
Baptist Church
campground that they
Assembly.
have at there, and
So it's a camp.
yeah,
Okay.
and they have rooms for in the camping areas and stuff for different. People have different things, but this is Randy Spradlin that's with her. He is the North Texas Regional Specialist for Texas Parks and Wildlife, and he initially got to present the award to her. So
Did you get choked up, Miranda?
I was a little bit. I didn't even know that was something.
No,
I
it's
was
nice to be
for.
recognized for that. And we, and
this is the group. On the left, as you're facing that picture, is Matt Smith. He is the director of hunter education for Texas Parks and Wildlife in Austin. Randy, Miranda, and myself, and they asked me to come up because Miranda's been my protege for a while now. She's doing her own classes and stuff.
what's that on your shoulders? That just. I'm looking at the picture.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
this is she was taking a picture and got her elbow in the picture when
Okay.
Miranda's mother took this picture from back to back.
Okay,
So.
fine. Okay. All right. Anyway, it's nice though to win an award. Put it on the mantelpiece or put it on your resume. Do you work for the Texas Parks and Wildlife?
No, I do not. I work for a local garage door company.
Oh, really? Here in town?
It's Burleson, Texas Overhead Door.
Texas Overhead
Yeah.
Door. I was going to guess. With the mayor, the former owner is on here all the time. Is Eric Fletcher still the owner?
Yes, he is.
He's a former student. Yeah. So just tell him I said hey and quit being a knucklehead.
For sure, I'll do that.
He'll laugh. We got along great. He was he was one of my first students I got to know when I started teaching in 90, 91 at the high school, and he was a very fine young man. Still is, I'm sure. All right. I also got others. Come on, Josh. You running out?
Sorry, I only received 2 photos.
Oh, I thought you had.
no.
No, wait a minute. I sent it. No, Josh. Look back on the. Look on the
Okay.
email. There's
Give me a
some-
second.
All right. Well, anyway, we got other things to talk about. But no, I sent you, forwarded a bunch on a couple of emails. It's more than just 2.
I think I said about 12 for you. So
Yeah, it's.
sort out
I'm seeing
whatever
them.
you
All
want.
right, give me 2
All right,
seconds.
he'll handle it. He's got all the technical
So
stuff
right
done.
now,
Okay.
with the area, we have 2 classes coming up for hunter education, one in July and one in August, and they're going to be here local Burleson at United Cooperative Services. If anybody's wanting to get one of those classes, they can go to the Texas Parks and Wildlife website and click on the education part of the menu, and it'll follow through to be registered for those classes. We have to pre-register people now instead of showing up the day of. It just makes things simpler with the way the system registers people.
Well, you do a lot of stuff in the summertime, obviously.
Yes, sir.
Because that's when the kids are available. So what are y'all got going on this summer?
So far, we were at Godley for their Summer Palooza event. We did an education station, we call it, where we talk about Parks and Wildlife and Texas Youth Hunter Program. And then Burleson Festival on the Hill. That was amazing.
No, it always
yeah.
is. It always is.
Saturday, Miranda and friends were over at Cleburne State Park for their community day. And then I was teaching a advanced class for ammunition reloading through Parks and Wildlife.
That's actually a very helpful class because, there's a lot of people that are not, that own guns, but they don't go out practicing or shooting all that often. And those skills can kind of fade on you a little bit.
Right.
And,
We did a program earlier 6 weeks ago, a firearm safety, maintenance, and upkeep class. So that was a good class to have for people that are especially new to firearms. And at the conference we just completed, the director made a comment to all the instructors there that one of the things we're having to look at in Parks and Wildlife is focusing on and adding with their staff is firearm safety, because we got a lot of people who are owning a firearm for sports shooting, or owning a firearm for keeping a house. The numbers of those versus the number that hunt we're starting to see a correlation. So we're having people who come to our classes strictly for firearm safety. And so we're going to be developing more programs for firearm safety, firearms maintenance to continue on, and some other programs that will come to that go with our hunting programs for thermals and silencers, things like that. So we'll be adding some more programs later in the year.
Well, I have one for home protection. I'm not new to it. But I don't go out and just randomly shoot out in the country or something. So I'm not as experienced with it.
Right.
But that's why I got the kind of gun I did, because I didn't have to be a good aim kind of thing. Got a Mossberg and,
Yep.
Just so for home protection out in the country a little bit. And thank the Lord I've never had to use it for that purpose other than just, I go to the shooting range and use it there. And Miranda, I guess you were probably pretty adept with firearms, I would imagine.
Pretty good. I mean, Sandy's taught me basically everything I know, so. And I'm still always learning.
Y'all hunt for entertainment and enjoyment as well, or just, because I know you do a lot of classes, like 3-day events and whatever else, camping out and all this other type of activities. But you just go out and hunt because it's the season, you like to do it?
Yeah, I've got a lease that I use, and actually made contacts with several landowners through the years. So I get invited to different areas across the state to come hunt, whether it be a deer hunt, hog, sandhill cranes, different things. So it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it because I can relax, and there's not a lot of, it's different when you're hunting to put something in the freezer and enjoy that and share with family and friends than it is when you're in the middle of having 4, 5, 10 youth out there and parents and guides, and you're running a structured program and trying to do education in between scheduled hunts and meals and paperwork and landowner briefs and keeping up with game wardens visiting, and there's a lot goes on.
Oh yeah.
The game warden.
Oh yeah.
See, that would be probably a good profession for you as game warden or something along those lines. But who knows?
I've looked into it a couple of times.
Yeah, why not? But see, I know that where we live out in Johnson County, and I've seen about every critter there is, including deer, and trying to keep them out of neighborhood gardens and such is a kind of a chore sometimes. Right. Sometimes I'll wake up and early in the morning go and I'll see tracks in my backyard and that kind of thing.
Right.
So
I get deer and turkey in my front yard, and it's like, okay, you guys enjoy it because you're not getting hunted out here. But
well, I know some of my. Not my next door neighbors, but people generally in the neighborhood, they'll throw deer corn out, things like that, because they want to see the pretty deer and all this. Right. They think they're talking to Bambi, but really, a lot of those deers are, when people say you need to cull the herd, that's definitely the case, because they can overpopulate an area,
right,
and they can be pretty destructive to the environment, because they don't have any natural predators much anymore.
Yeah, the coyote. Bobcat, depending on the size of a deer, especially fawns and yearlings, are susceptible to bobcats, predators like foxes. Family dogs have gotten a few, but once they get into that year and a half, there's not a lot in our area that we would consider a natural predator now. And when you have people that are feeding them and creating that environment where they get more and more dependent, the other part that comes into that is now we get deer, wildlife struck by vehicles or a motorcycle, something like that.
That damage your car. It happened to my son about 7 or 8 years ago in Oklahoma. And it wasn't his car, it was a rental car.
Right.
But, and they come out at dusk or at dawn.
Right. And it's hard to see a lot of times. You're not expecting it. And, of course, is it going to jump or not? And you're slowing down, flash the headlights. People try all sorts of different things. But that animal's going to spook at some point. It's unfortunate, but where I live off 917 there between Joshua and Egan, it's not uncommon to see later in the fall a couple of deer being hit, and sometimes the game wardens are available, and then sometimes they're not. And I've been getting phone calls, from them, or dispatcher says, "Hey, we got a deer that's suffering," and I'll go out and help them, with that. You develop that type of rapport with those guys over a period of time, but. That's an unfortunate part of hunting too, is the animals being injured. But now we look at our conservation program, and one of the two things we're teaching is chronic waste disease and what people need to look for that, because in Texas with our different zones, different areas that are being looked at for that disease, we've talked before that.
Right, we did. I remember you showed some pictures of the diseased deer.
Right. And then the new one that's coming out now was with Texas Parks and Wildlife, Texas Department of Health, Texas Animal Health Commission, and Sid Miller's office down at the Department of Agriculture's new little screwworm is coming. And
oh, great.
and once that, back in the 60s, 70s, screwworm in the livestock industry, cattle and sheep, goats, stuff like that was a big issue. And of course, everybody's looking at that from Department of Agriculture and Animal Health Commission stuff. But now with the wildlife, it can be deer, raccoons, the pigs, dogs, family pets, anything that would have an open sore that those flies can get to once they get into Texas. There's a whole other area we're going to be in. We started doing a program at the conference that identified what to do, how some treatments are doing, and some of the programs that are going to be available for landowners, cattlemen, and the wildlife specialists out there.
Are you hooked up, Josh?
Yes, sir. Just about.
Okay.
The second
more pictures.
screen's going to go black, and then those pictures should be popping right up.
There's Airwave Studios, as it says here in ours. And so it's a little plug for podcast. You ought to do a podcast on these kind of issues, once a month or something like that. But if you want, I don't mind it all coming to my show. It's a lot easier, probably.
I'd rather sit and talk with you, Brent.
Yeah, okay.
I will get off on a tangent about something that.
We do that all the time. So Miranda, what exactly do you do? You take like young people out and try to teach them how to hunt appropriately, and gun safety and all this. And is that what your goals are?
Yeah, with the youth hunts and stuff, just kind of working with them and seeing how they enjoy the stuff, because a lot of the ones that we get on the hunts that we're on are brand new.
Right.
They've never done anything like this, or they've only sat with their parents in the blind. They've never done it themselves. And there was one girl a couple of years ago that she was amazing, so sweet, so kind. And when she did it, me and her mom are doing our little quiet cheer, and she's over there crying because she couldn't believe she finally did it herself. And I still get texts from them all the time. I'm like, hey, this is what she got this year.
Do you recommend a certain type of gun or type of rifle for these events?
Whichever one fits the kid best.
Well, see, I don't have a hunting rifle. I have, it's going to scatter,
A couple of things that we do. Texas Youth Hunter Program is a program Miranda and I and quite a few people are involved in. It was created in 1996 to give youth an opportunity to hunt Texas, and it started being for white-tailed deer, and now we have exotics, mule deer, we have the sandhill crane, the hogs, the varmints. We have a lot of opportunity for these kids, and the focus the past couple of years and going forward is, as Miranda was saying, is our new hunter, new to the activity. Opportunity that they're not going to get somewhere, especially in the urban environments and inner city kids that don't have an opportunity. So we have the opportunity to give them an opportunity, that hunting class. It's a controlled environment, and it focuses on education, safety, and then the ability to enjoy being outdoors. We really want that. We want them to learn something as we go. We can supply a firearm for them if they need one. And to your question about what type of firearm, a lot of people will use a bolt-action rifle because it's simple, it's easy to operate, and it's something that can be relatively easily taught. Our landowners may have restrictions as well, and that's an opportunity to them. So they may say a minimum of a .243 or a 6mm caliber bullet because we want to reduce wound loss. So we have some people who want to go and use what they call an MSR, a modern sporting rifle, which would be like an AR-15 or something like that, where those lighter 55 grain, 62 grain bullets, they'll take a deer, but you have to be very familiar with the firearm and able to hit a designed target. So
Well, here's a picture right here.
Memorial Day, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was taken in April of 1986.
Mm-hmm.
That picture was taken 3 days before Reagan sent us after Gaddafi in Libya.
Mm-hmm.
We were on patrol boat between the carriers and the amphib group out there while they were trying to figure out things. And I'm in the picture with several other folks, and that was a couple of tense nights and loss of sleep trying to figure out what we were going to do next.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. So that's part of the Memorial Day thing there.
Okay.
We had some different memory there.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Aaron Ash from Cleveland says, hello from Cleveland, and thank you for your service. Look at
my
that.
dad.
It's your dad. Okay.
Yeah, he was in the Army several years, and he got out right before troops were being sent to Vietnam. So
Yeah, see,
he
that's kinda like with
fortunately
mine.
did not get recalled.
It's kind of like my dad. There's, I have several generations of people who served from World War I up until really to about the 80s. And so it's just, I think we paid for our passage, as they say. Right. All right. Also, you got any other hunting related pictures there, Josh?
We should have quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So group picture here was taken in January, at the end of the month, this past January. This is in Palo Pinto County up on the Brazos River, and a group of 6 youth hunters right there. And of that group, 5 of 6 were able to harvest an Allard, and 4 of the 6 were able to get their first deer. So we had a good trap, and then the parents out there. This landowner owns property on both sides of the river and is such a supporter of this youth program. That they do Texas Youth Hunter program for a 6 to 7 youth, and then they also do a mentor hunt with students from colleges from Texas Tech or Abilene, things like that. So it's wonderful when you have property owners, landowners like that to get involved.
And what else we got here?
Next.
Yeah, there you go.
So as part of the class, this is one of the things we do. This is from Abilene State Park. The folks that are standing around, they are adult mentor hunt. So the gentleman in the back left is Doug DeBose. He's part of the Texas Wildlife Association. And them and Parks and Wildlife put together these adult hunts. So the young woman in the back, these two have never hunted before, and they were able to go out with us and be mentored on hog hunting at Abilene State Park. So we were able to take and harvest a bunch of hogs that were doing damage inside and around the park.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all hogs do. There's no point in that, but because they are really destructive to the environment.
Our ecosystems can suffer, especially where our waterways are at, so we have to watch that.
Yeah, so that one's been strung up. Are you going to skin it and eat it?
Yeah, so these animals actually, once we get them harvested, we bring them in, we'll go through and do a quartering where that animal will be broken down and just put on ice for them to take with them, and then if they want to harvest the animal or donate it, eat it, we can have it processed further. But that's part of the programs we teach as well. Is
what happens to the carcass?
At Abilene, at the state park, they have a dumpster set up just for that, so they can be taken. If you're in hunting on properties that a landowner has or property you lease, you will, depending on the area, you'll either have an area that you put the waste parts of it, which would be your, organs and leftover bones and stuff. A lot of your landowners want them in a certain place, and we don't ever want to put anything around a campsite that's going to draw in varmints or bring buzzards or anything into us. So we make sure, we want certain things. And then if you're in a restriction zone, then long bones, the backbone, things like that can't leave the property anymore because of CWD. So there's a lot of restrictions that hunters have to be aware of now on that.
Yeah, I just thought you'd probably pile them and burn them, but something like that. But
very hard to do. Now the rule is if we can bury them, we want to bury them under at least 36 inches, so it prevents that disease in that area. Yep.
And what else we got here, buddy?
Let's see. This was a combined hunt in Goldwaith Mills County area. The gentleman there with the derby hat on, his name is Jackie Beebe. He's called the Texas Rattlesnake Man.
Oh, yeah?
And Jackie is a entertainer. He's been on TV. He's been on Discovery Channel. He's made in some movies. He's actually filming a movie right now. And but he came out to this group of youth that we had on a hunt. There was 14 of the kids. And Jackie did about an hour and a half long seminar on snakes and the benefits of them and that cage.
Benefits? That's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Tell that to my wife.
Right. But he actually brought a rattlesnake out in that cage and went over what they do and don't and do's and don'ts with the kids and how to approach and not. And it was great. We had a good time.
Well, we have a couple snakes in our yard, and my wife it's all freaked out. But they're not poisonous snakes. They're rat snakes or something like that. And so benefits of snakes, I got to hear that conversation sometime.
Yeah. Well, the rodent control is our biggest thing on it. But then there's also, you think about around your house, people don't realize garter snakes, grass snakes, certain things, and you get lizards, you get salamanders, you get all sorts of stuff around the property people don't realize,
Oh, sure.
part of our ecosystem.
Oh, yeah. I understand lizards are good luck if you find one on on your wall or a tree or something like that. So you're not scared of snakes, are you, Miranda?
Not really.
No, really, no.
Now, if it's coiled up and not happy, then yeah, I'm going to be getting.
Has that
out of
happened to
there.
you?
Thankfully.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I just Wednesday of last week had a copperhead in the front yard where I parked the truck, loading the trailer, and he was right there in the way, so we had to get him relocated.
Yeah.
This was over in Godley at Summer Palooza at their event, and we were doing a tabletop. So we have these pelts.
Is that Mrs. Mason?
No, it's Miranda there with me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at it from the side in the glare. I just that.
We did.
Yeah, I can see it now. I've got to look closer. I was just sitting off to the side in the glare off the screen. I just saw a female. So that's you, huh?
That's me.
Okay, all right.
I think they said they had about 500 people show up at the event, and we talked to several hundred, gave out information, flyers, our safety whistles.
All the safety whistles.
We're infamous for those.
Wait, it's a special whistle, though, isn't it? It's not just like a referee's whistle or something like that.
It's actually here on my keychain.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Would it blow out the mics if you blew on it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Josh is like shaking his head. No, thank you.
Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
So a safety topic that we get into in hunter's education is if you were in a position that you needed help, how can you signal for help? And then 3 blasts of an air horn, 3 evenly spaced out shots, or 3 blasts of a whistle. So we got these whistles that we give out to the youth at our classes or when we're out doing these events. So it's a lot of fun, and they get something out of it. And then when they're running around a state park and you hear whistles off in the distance, they took them out of their pocket and playing with them.
Was that at the
That's all I heard yesterday or Saturday.
At their baseball field, I guess?
This is at the high school, facing towards the football field, and then the ball field was behind us on that for the baseball field.
Well, I haven't been to Godley's High School in a couple of decades. I think I went to a UIL event then.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. They've added in that area. It's just something else. This was at Burleson a couple of weeks ago with the Festival on the Hill.
Yeah.
And the organizers said they had over 4,000 people come through.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We went through a lot of material, and we brought Ray. That's our buddy there on the table with us. He's an all-dad. And
What did you call him?
Ray. It's my little buddy.
I just call him Mr. Audad. I didn't know that he had an actual name.
Yeah, I thought you don't name the animals.
Yeah.
When the kids start asking a name, what do you call them? Well, it's easier to say Ray because they'll remember that.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah,
Well, that looks like it was a lot of fun event. Is this it again? Yes.
and then the little garden gnome down there.
Garden gnome. Okay.
That's
with the appropriate hunters.
oh yeah.
Gear
yeah.
on. Yeah.
So
We outfitted him.
Of course.
Yeah, part of our annual conference is there's a auction for the Charlie, if you will, what we call him. I was fortunate enough last year to get him bestowed to me, and he has to go to every event that I was doing. So that, at the conference a couple of weeks ago, he found a new protege to go with.
I missed that event because I was in Corsicana dealing with estate issues with my mom. Not that she's passed yet, but my sister and I are trying to get things taken care of before. And so I missed that event, unfortunately.
Yeah, when I emailed you about Festival on the Hill, I saw that you couldn't come.
Yeah.
This was one of our classes that we set up for doing firearm safety and familiarization. And we go over the different types of firearms, different things that are available for people, and what they can and can't be used, in certain situations. If you're talking about a sporting rifle versus a sporting shotgun, target firearms, how to keep them up, how to clean, what to look for. If something happens, if you dropped it, what you would have to look at. So there's a lot that we teach when we do that.
Well, when I first got my Mossberg about 3 or 4 years ago, I went to a Bass Pro Shop with my son. Everything you can imagine related to hunting is in those, that or Cabela's and that kind of thing. It was like Disney World for hunters, that kind of thing.
Do you have the Cabela's photos in here?
No.
Darn.
Do you just go there and hang out, Miranda? You just go walk around?
We
Well,
did an
we
event.
had an event,
Okay.
and I kind of stole the little gnome, took him on a whirlwind trip because he was still outfitted like a fisherman.
Okay.
So he got to do some fishing and almost got eaten by a lion, and I had a little fun with him.
Okay. But it's just, those shops are amazing to me because it's just every conceivable thing related to hunting and fishing you could think of.
Right.
And, and fortunately, I think we live in a state in which this is encouraged as opposed to discouraged. I don't know if you saw this morning in the news about Virginia. They're going. What drives me nuts is when people are critical about guns. They talk about assault rifles, AR-15s. And that's not what AR stands for.
No, that's for Armor-Lock Corporation. I bet if you asked the 1860s Plains Indians what an assault rifle was, they were going to talk about somebody with a lever-action rifle. Because that was new technology then against them. Let's don't get off that. One thing when you talk about Cabela's and Bass Pro Shop and stuff, if you hold that picture for just a second, but inside there, when you're walking around and you see the fishing gear, you see the hunting gear, you see the firearms, you see the outboard motors, all that stuff that's in there. When they sell that, there's an excise fee on that under the Pittman-Robertson Act for federal aid and wildlife and federal funding. Those taxes get put back to the states to help with wildlife education, wildlife conservation and management, state parks, things like that. It's based on the number of licenses sold and firearms, things like that. So there's those excise fees that our sportsmen, our hunters, target shooters, our anglers, fisherwomen, all those people that are out there, they contribute so much that they don't realize back towards our state parks, our Corps engineer properties to help be maintained. There's just a lot that goes on that people don't realize.
Well, when you buy a hunting license, it goes for that purpose. And if you don't have a license, it's called poaching, right?
That is a fact.
Yeah.
Well, now let's make this clear on that. If you own a piece of property and you have an animal that is depredating the property, i.e. a feral hog, or if you had like chickens and a coyote was after the chickens, you have the right to put that animal down. You're not harvesting that animal at that point. You are protecting either your property or your livestock. You do not need to have a hunting license for that event, but you're not going to be processing that animal or that varmint for the table. That is an act of preservation or protection on your part. That's the one time that you don't have to have.
Right.
You can't go to the game warden and say, "Oh yeah, there were 30 of them, and I had to," that's not. No, over a different period of time, that is not a protection act. That is a poaching act when you start.
Right. Where my cousin lives, up in the middle of Oklahoma, a lot of the farmers there put donkeys out in their with their pasture land to protect the cattle because donkeys are pretty aggressive against coyotes, which they have an issue with. Same with the pigs.
Right.
And,
So donkeys and llamas both are herd protection animals, and then a lot of folks that have sheep and goats will actually go with either Great Pyrenees or Kurakawa dogs and put those out there, and they herd animals that way to help protect against. So it's kind of fun. So this picture, let's change the topic here. This was in Bryan College Station. The American Legion sponsored a junior shooting sports program, and these kids that you see here are from down in the Houston area. Burleson's air rifle team from the junior ROTC program went down and competed with those guys in our inaugural event for air rifle competition, and we were able to set a state champion up out of that.
I read something about that, yeah.
So we had a great time, and that's one of my other duties is being with the junior shooting sports. But these kids get out there and they concentrate. They work so hard for that, and it's just it's a wonderful program. And you talk about self-driven and self-motivation. When these youth get into these programs like air rifle or skeet shooting, bow hunting, or bow target archery, they put themselves on another level because they're so self-motivated and so critical of their own selves when they're trying to compete.
But you mentioned something just now. We all associate hunting with rifles, but do y'all also teach courses on crossbow and,
yes, sir,
and bow hunting?
We're both bow hunter instructors.
Really?
For Parks and Wildlife, and one of the programs we do on Saturdays of our youth hunts is we actually offer bow hunting education between the hunts. So it gives us about a 6-hour window to teach our field course and testing for bow hunter education in Texas.
Do you like that better, or is it just a nice change? I mean, I have never had any experience with bow hunting or crossbow or anything like that.
It's an opportunity to give a program that's very limited in how it's offered. Bow hunting through Parks and Wildlife is hit and miss. Unfortunately, finding instructors, we're a very limited number of instructors we have. Most of our youth through high schools was called NAPS, Natural Archery Program. National Archery Program is NAPS. So you'll see that in a lot of schools now. Burleson has a NAPS chapter, and Waco every year hosts a big one for the state. So there's a lot that goes on to that, but that is target shooting versus teaching the hunting aspect of it, where we discuss arrow lethality, what a compound does versus a longbow versus a crossbow, the differences in the broadhead, the target points, the harvesting different animals. So we deal more in what those components will do when you're using them for a hunting event instead of a targeting event.
I don't know. I guess that's just a very select way of doing business, you know. And I've never had any experience with that. That looks like Burleson High School.
It is.
All right.
So this was the Texas 801st Junior ROTC Awards Banquet. This group that you see in the picture, these are all our graduating seniors this year. And if you count from facing to our left, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's Wesley Smirk. Wesley was accepted to Texas A&M on a ride, and he turned it down because he's going to West Point.
West Point.
Yep.
That's very impressive.
That young man is something else.
Yeah.
I have been so fortunate the past couple of years to work around him and talk with him and a lot of the group that's up there, especially with the air rifle team. But I'll tell you what.
Well,
watching that group from 1980 when we started to now, wow.
I've always been a big fan of the JRTC program at Burleson High.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times they invited me to this ceremony here we're looking at right now. I forget. They call it something now. It's been 10 years, so I'm trying to remember. And what I remember from it specifically is they had this bowl of liquid or whatever. They kept dumping junk in it.
That's in October.
Yeah.
And you're talking about going to the banquet with the grog.
The grog, as they call it, right? And it's like, but it was like, and they had a drink
edible,
out of it.
But it's not pleasant.
No. It's like, wow, you guys are something else.
And then one of the young men that got a national award, Bill Andrew in the picture here, he's a chaplain for the American Legion. He's also a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And he was presenting the VFW award to this young man here for the national award for VFW. So, yeah, we try to do a lot of different things in the community as veterans. And, yeah, there's...
Well, when I first started at the high school... Hang on to that picture there for a minute, Josh. When I started at the high school, to be frank, what they used ROTC for was like rehabilitation of students. And I thought, that's not really what we're here for. And as a son of a veteran, I was like, but that wasn't my call. Over the years, particularly the last decade or so, I mean, you had some very sharp young men and women in that program. And, they were there because they want to make the military a career. and not
Some
just
do, yes.
something to do in high school or whatever.
Okay, so Burleson's Texas 801st Junior RTC, when it started in 1980, we had Colonel Rudiger, Leland Rudiger was our senior instructor. He was a B-29 pilot in World War II, flew over Japan. A mentor, a teacher, and he actually became a friend to me. And being in the original class and being able now to come back and help out and be part of the ceremonies the past 10 years or so is amazing to watch. The strength of that program, the youth make a lot of it up, but the instructors that they have are just above, just can't say enough for Walter Blankenship, who's been there for so long.
He's still there, right?
He is actually retired, and Jeff Sorrell now is the senior instructor, and Jeff is, is he fun to work with. You can't get just, and
Is Sergeant Mims still there?
Sergeant Mims is retired as well, and the Master Sergeant.
They're both, Blankenship and Mims are two of the best I saw at that job.
And the people that are there now with Jeff and the Master Sergeant, they're wonderful people.
Well, I think they really upgraded on who they would ask to do that job. It wasn't like somebody just filling out the rest of his tour.
Yeah, no, it's very select now, the programs, and because you remember we're teaching military training, and there's an opportunity for these folks to take that program for 3 to 4 years and become an E3 going into the service once they get through basic training. So there's a lot that they have to learn and put on. But then you're going to learn from geography. You're going to learn from aerospace studies. You're going to learn weather and science, meteorology. There's so many things people don't realize that those students get involved in, and then add their community service projects, what they do around the school campus between football games and other programs and stuff that they're involved around. Color guards, honor guards.
This young lady's winning an award, apparently?
Yes, she was one of our national award winners for the American Legion this year as well. And I got to present two awards. We have American Legion presents a Military Excellence Award and a Scholastic Award. And the Scholastic Award, you have to have a 3.5 or higher GPA. Yeah. So.
Well, it was like I mentioned earlier when I first started. The academic requirements weren't as strict, but at the last decade, 12 years or whatever you want to say, they were some of my better students.
Oh, yeah.
And I just really appreciated it.
Always so polite.
And I tell them, about I was born in Fort Bragg and all this other business, talking about my dad being a jumper, and they always found that to be pretty interesting. Right. We have time for about one more picture, and then we gotta
you got that.
And some more.
Oh yeah. So, Amy, that is General Baumgartner. She, Amy Henderson, I believe was her name. She is a graduate from Burleson High School that went and joined the Air Force and worked her way into being a one-star general, and got to meet and talk with her, and we had a good conversation. She was a classmate with my middle brother, so we had a good time and talking about him. And
how about that?
She was our guest speaker this year for the program, and took time out to come here, and just it's amazing that we get quality people like that to come and work with our youth here in Burleson.
We're fortunate.
Yes.
I got a couple of things that I add about the nonprofits, and then I'll let y'all finish up about the hunting and the programs that you got coming this summer.
Okay.
Saturday, a few of my Sunday school friends and I went to work at Promises to fill bags for Kids Eat Free, which starts in about a week from Wednesday. And they tell me that they don't like for business in the summertime because a lot of the lunch programs from schools aren't being continued. I think, I know Crowley, I don't know, Burleson have like a couple of schools to have it, but it's not like offered as much as it was before. It's obvious. I think Norwood Elementary has one. I think Taylor may have one. But you're going to have a situation where there's a lot of need for food pantry. So I tell you what you could, if you want to contribute, is kind of food that kids can prepare and eat on their own without mom being around. If you want to give them like SpaghettiOs, they prefer the one with the pop top, so it's easier to maneuver. But anyway, and I'm sure I'm speaking just the same kind of need that Harvest House, Crowley House of Hope is also, I'm sure could say the same thing, because there's like from about early to mid-June till about out to December, that's when more than half of their business is done. A bulk of their business because of the holidays and all this other business. But so, consider adopting one of these food pantries, and make it a point to drop by. They need peanut butter all the time, but they also need jelly. They can't get jelly because no one thinks that, I guess, or cereal, or SpaghettiOs or Chef Boyardee type stuff, or I always get the generic stuff, and it's the same thing. So also on June 12th, coming up a week from Friday, we're going to have, no, it's 2 weeks from Friday. Yeah, get it right.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from Friday, the Chamber's having their charity golf tournament. Well, it's not charity, it's for them. It's their fundraiser. So they're the charity. I'm sure if Melissa was hearing this, she'd do, no, it's for us. We're not giving it away. Anyway, I'm going to have them on next week, and they'll tell all about it. But it's their fundraiser, and it's over at Hidden Creek, and it's $600 for a team, $150 for individuals. You can still sponsor a hole and whatnot, and it's always a really fun time. I know my friend Jack Matson, he'll be on in about 3 weeks from now. They're going to be having another tournament to raise money for a wheelchair for mid-July. I think that's when theirs is. Okay, tell us what's going on this summer with y'all and the youth programs.
Let's see. We have the Hunter Education class July 25th.
Where at?
The Burleson United Co-op off of 35 in Bethesda. We started about, 8 o'clock?
We'll start at 8 a.m. and you can pre-register through the Texas Parks and Wildlife website. And then we'll do one August 22nd, or it's the third Saturday in August. We're going to do one out there again at the same location. And June 17th, there's a Hunter Education program in Alvarado that is going on at one of the churches. And then we're, of course, available for private classes for people, organizations that want to get something done. And if they want to do a hunter education, or if they have a firearm safety class, we'll go out and work with their groups and do those as well. The other items that are coming up would be the American Legion, of course, 4th of July parade, and then in the summer, at the end of the summer, going into the fall, there'll be looking at the flag collection boxes and what we have going on with those programs. And when you talk about the food pantries, the VFW, Tri-Cities VFW out by Crowley, 1902 area, they have food drives out there as well. If you go to Facebook and look up that VFW post, Tri-Cities VFW, you can find out when they're doing food drives, and that'll help out the communities because they do Burleson and Crowley as well and help out with what they can.
People think, well, if I buy this, then they don't need it. You can donate money because they'll buy it themselves. A lot of the people donate money, and the pantries have the ability to buy wholesale, things like that.
That
or
helps.
That does help. But
and then the last item I guess we'll get to you is our youth groups, Texas Youth Hunter Program. If they're geared for 9 to 17-year-olds. If you have a child, grandchild, niece, nephew, whatever, that is an interest in hunting or the outdoors, it doesn't have to be hunting. We do fishing tournaments. We have camping trips. We have outdoor education programs, one-day venues. tyhp.org. Go to the website. Our calendar will start in June. It's a couple of weeks away, and they'll start loading all the hunts and the outdoor events that are going on there. Go through, sign up, see if you can get selected for them, and come join us out in the field and have a good time.
Well, when it gets close to these lessons, these classes, send me some material. We can throw it up in the nonprofit areas and whatnot, because that's what we're here for.
Definitely.
Yeah. For sure.
And also tomorrow I have a pretty interesting show. It's Alex Phillips we're going to talk about Burleson economic development. Apparently there's a lot of buzz, as they say. Do they still say buzz? Or I'm so behind the times. Anyway, they say this new restaurant's going to be really dope. You don't like that one, Josh?
He's showing his age.
He's just grimacing over there. It's this Italian restaurant coming downtown to Old Town, and that's going to be pretty fun. We're going to talk about that. Talk about other economic developments and see if I can beat some secrets out of him. He never tells me anything in advance.
Be nice to know what they're going to do with that new industrial zone off of the Chisholm Trail as well. See what's going on out there.
Well, we did talk a little bit about that. There's a big training school coming. Okay, and a lot of people kind of know about it, but they're not really thinking about it. But there's going to be a big school out there, and boy, is it going to change a lot of traffic patterns, shall we say. Mm-hmm. So when I had the mayor on last Tuesday, we were talking about that because...
Oh, yeah. I was just down Chisholm Trail a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing the construction on that 30-year road. Mm-hmm. No, it's
no. Well,
it's crazy now.
When I started teaching at Southwest Christian, I used the tollway, and and there was some development going on. I went on it about 2 months ago for the first time in a long time. I was like, wow. There's not a speck of undeveloped land out here anymore. No. So as a hunter, I guess you feel it, huh?
Well, some of that area, growing up, we used to do dove hunting in, but with urban sprawl, that's part of life.
That's the way it is.
Thankfully, Texas is 95% privately held and owned, so a lot of our lands that are out on the outlying areas are still continue to grow and develop and develop good wildlife.
Well, Miranda, thanks for coming to the show. Try not to dominate the conversation so much next time, all right? I mean, we could hardly get a word in,
Y'all just kept on talking. I was letting you go.
Yeah, I'm letting you go. Well,
maybe next time I'll talk.
Okay, good.
For you.
I'm just going to give her the mic next time and say, get after it.
Well, she can come. I have plenty of open space in July and August for shows, so we got to do this again towards the middle to end of August.
Sure.
And maybe by that time, some pictures from the parade.
Hey, there you go.
And have some pictures from the class.
And the classes, and we do this again because, like, right now, August is wide open, July mostly so.
Okay. Starting in October, we'll be in the thick of youth hunting season.
Yeah, and you can tell us all about what's coming in the fall.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always remember when the first day of hunting season, I could tell in class when I was a teacher because we're about 20 to 30 guys were missing that particular day. Right? Yeah. Well, Josh, you have a swell Memorial Day. You got any big plans?
You as well. Gonna grab some lunch with my family, and then I think we're gonna go visit the Veterans Memorial in Old Town.
Nah, you're talking.
Yeah, I have two grandfathers with bricks there. So
how about that? There you go. See. You see, everybody gets should celebrate Memorial Day in some fashion or another. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow with Alex. And thank you all for what you do. Thank you all for the lessons you bring and making hunting successful in this state. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.